Assalamu alaikum. Hi everybody. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Guys here in Canada enjoyed this is actually enjoying this weekend because our temperatures are going down. Winter is almost around the corner and we are out of the summer officially and going into the winter. Today I'm doing a very exclusive review of a very particular models, which is this. It's a PIA's Boeing 737-300 in 1/138 scale by Rysoon models. Only 50 pieces were made, and there's a reason why it was done. A lot of people have asked me, and I will share that with you. I will do this review in a different context. Usually I talk about the history and the model itself, and then talk about the actual aircraft and the model. But this time I'm going to talk about the model first, people behind it, the whole story of the model, and then we'll go into the history of this particular aircraft. So let's get started, and let me introduce you to two fellows who were actually behind this. And one of them is Moin Abbasi in Pakistan. He's an avid lifetime collector of model aircraft, and a lot of people know him. He's also known quite a bit in Europe and North America. Then the other fellow is Muhammad Haider Haroon. He's based in Islamabad. He's a very nice collector too. He collects a lot of models. So the way this whole thing started is going back a few months ago, and Moin shared an idea, a vision with a few of the modelers, including collectors, including myself, that he wants to do a model of Boeing 737. Now the thing is, if you look behind me, the manufacturers have actually done pretty much all the aircraft, all the jet aircraft, except for PIA, except for 737. So as part of the jet aircraft, 737 has been missing for a while now, and we've been waiting and waiting, and then finally Moin said, let's get on with it. So he shared his vision, we all liked it, and then he contacted the manufacturer, the Rysoon models, and asked for the quote, and the number of pieces were discussed. And like the way this whole thing happened with this particular model is that since it's a pet project, we he didn't want to make too many of them, not knowing how many would sell. So therefore only 50 pieces were decided to do. There were two registrations done on it. Now this particular one, as you can see, it's APBCD. Then there's another one which I shared the video with you a couple days ago, with the registration of APBCA. Now the BCA was the very first 737-300 in Nergis livery, delivered to PIA back in 1985. PIA was the first airline to get a 737-300. It was a state-of-the-art aircraft. It replaced the Boeing 720s, and it also, I believe, had the entertainment system of that time. We'll talk about the history in our second. I just wanted to give you this. So when it was decided, Moin went and got the quote from the company, and then back there were quite a bit communication, correspondence that happened in between. Number of units was selected as a first project, as a pet project, to see how many would sell, and 50 was the number that Moin and Haroon decided that would be good as a startup, because they didn't know how many modelers were actually going to buy this model. They don't want to invest too much into it, and so forth. And so 50 pieces were decided. 25 were of BCD, 25 were of BCA. By the way, they're all gone. They're all finished. I got two pairs of it. I gave one to another collector friend of mine, Josefa, and then Another BCD that I got, I gave it to Captain Rehan Haki of PIA's 777. He's a collector too, and I gave him that. And uh, the second BCA today went to Aviation World's Fred. This fellow also collects large models, much larger than this. 3 weeks ago, there was a airliners collectible show here in Toronto. I had this per model displayed there. He really liked it and he wanted one, so I said, okay, I can get one for you. So that's what I did, and his review is 9 out of 10. I'll talk to you about that too. So when it was decided, you know, uh, the quote was given, quote was accepted, they went to work. The Rysoon started doing the artwork, and between them, Moin and Heather, a lot of correspondence happened back and forth to correct the artwork, to get the colors right, to get all the details possible, uh, to make the models. And when all the artwork was set, everything was good to go. Payment was made, and it was a smooth transaction. The order was placed, and I think a couple of months later or 3 months later, the models were built, packed, and shipped to Moin Abbasi in Karachi. From there, Moin sent a whole bunch of them to Heather, and between them, because Heather lives in Islamabad, Moin lives in Karachi, so Moin covered the southern part of Pakistan. Heather did the northern part, and between the two, they did the international also. So I am in Canada, as you guys know. So I got the two pairs, as I said. And then one went to Fred, and Fred is the only person who's a non-Pakistani avid model collector. Also works at the aviation world. Really nice guy. By the way, all the guys at the aviation world are really nice, friendly professionals. They really know their stuff, and they help and sometimes go out of their way to get you the certain model that you want, which may be out of production, but they try to find that for you. And hands up, like a thumbs up to you guys. The aviation world, you guys are awesome. I've been dealing with the aviation world for almost 30 years now, and it's been top notch with them ever since. And so is with Threshold Aviation. Both of them are, side by side. Aviation world carries different products than Threshold, and so it works very well within the whole entire uh, modeling collectors, the model building community. So going back to this model, and so as you can see, now I'll talk to you in detail about the model. Just look at it. The colors are pretty much accurate, mind you. Nobody really knows the actual paint chip code for the PIA's 80s Nergis livery. In Pakistan, it's called Sony Dhati livery, but Nergis out of UK were the consultants. They designed the livery but never gave any name to it, so we decided to give the Sony Dhati name to it. The colors are accurate as far as I can see. I mean, like I said, nobody knows the color codes, so all the references, all the pictures that were used, they selected the closest color. The green is one of the 100 shades of peacock green, and it's difficult. And I believe Boeing's archives would have the actual code, and going through Boeing, going through PIA would have taken so long time. And but the colors are very close to original. The cheat line, the gold cheat line, has a metallic gold flake in it, which is very nicely done. I really like it, and if you put the light to it, you can actually see the gold flake, shining through the light. So that's really good. The font of the PIA is very accurate. The Urdu font of the PIA is also very accurate. You can see there's a sill plate on the top of each door. That adds to the detail. The door has its turning opening handle there, plus Pakistani flag and a PIA written on the top, right side. of these doors, which is very accurate. I mean, back then it was like that. Wings, sorry to look at the profile of the fuselage, the cockpit, everything is very accurate. I've measured it with the drawings and it's very good. The fit of the model is bang on. It's very nice fit, very nice and tight. The dihedral angles are exactly how it is supposed to be, like you guys can see it from the front here. And when I buy a model, I make sure the wings to the fuselage, tail to the fuselage, and horizontal stabilizers, engines, and the landing gears are exactly how they're supposed to be. If there's any variation, I try to get an accurate model, but then at the end of the day, these things are replicas and models. So if there is a little bit difference, uh, guys, just let it go, because these are not flying models, these are display models, and literally not everybody notices that. The engine detail is very nice. The landing gear is okay. I mean, they did the best they can. And today, when I went and delivered Fred's model, I asked him to do the review. He went over the model. He really liked it. He says this is one of the similar molds of Skymarks, but it's more accurate than he thought, and the detail that's added on the wings, especially with the emergency exits, registration number, coro guard, the leading edge color, those are extras than he has seen it. And he said that this particular 737 is not produced very often. It's very rare they actually do, so this adds more to the value. The font on the tail is very accurate. As I said, the color is very close to original. Um, look at the nose. The nose is very nicely done. The model is glowing, and it's it looks like a brand new aircraft. But let's put it this way: you get a brand new aircraft. 3 weeks later, there's all sorts of oil streaks. There's brake dust. There's some, grime all over the fuselage and the wings, and the aircraft starts looking like a used airplane. So the only thing that I'm noticing right now, there is no seam for the rudder, but taking everything in consideration, it's a minor thing that that I'm sure a lot of people will not never pick on. The cargo loading and unloading doors are there on the right side. Look at the profile of the engine. It's very accurate. The angles are very nice, and the blades actually turn if you put air through them. Nose landing gear is very good. If you guys notice, it says CD here and CA on other ones, but nothing shows on this side. So what really happened is that when these airplanes were delivered in 85 to PIA, there was no registration numbers painted underneath the nose. Only the wings had them, and at the back of the fuselage had them. So right after the delivery, I think a couple of months later, PIA painted the registration acronyms in the front, like on this model. Sometimes they had on both sides, sometimes they had on one side only. It all depends on the research that Moin and Heather did and which was sent to them. Maybe they sent once with both sides, but Raisoon missed it. It's a pretty negligible mistake. You guys can see the landing gears, and on the bottom of the model, it's very nice, very accurately done. I'll turn it around this way too, so you can see it vertically. So overall, I also give 9.5 out of 10 for this model. It's very well done. It's a corporate level model for the scale. The scale is corporate level. You don't get the scale that often. The other thing is that these models don't come with the landing gears. So for this one to have a landing gear, that's very rare. And for the landing, so hold on to your models, because down the road only 50 were ever produced, and these will be very valuable. And also keep the box of it, because some people tend to keep the models, they destroy the box, or box get damaged. Don't let that happen to the box. My boxes of my models are in the cartons that I have for them, and every time I need to move the model somewhere, I disassemble it, I put it in the box in its original packing, and then move it. So it's very important to keep the model, the boxes of these snap together or die cast models, because the value as well as moving them becomes very easy. So now I'm gonna go back to go forward, go into the second phase of the history. And back in 1985, as I mentioned earlier, PIA received six 737-340s, and they replaced the Boeing 727-20s at that time. And this aircraft started flying to to the northern routes of Skardu in throughout the whole Pakistan domestically, as well as it started going to regional like Dubai, Saudi Arabia, uh, Bangladesh, China, all the, sometimes even to Kabul, and maybe it went to India also. That part I'm not sure, but it could be. So it was a very nice aircraft. It flew for PIA from 1985 to 2016 is when the last 737 was retired, and it happened to be this particular one, BCD. Also the BCF. So both of them were retired in, I think, August or September of 2014. And ironically, this particular aircraft is still in Karachi. It's being used by PTC, PIA Training Center, for the newcomers, the new trainees. And apart from its engine, pretty much all the systems are powered up, and even I believe the flaps are deployed at times. So it's kept in next to airworthy condition. And so let's go back to the significance why BCD was done. BCD was done because when Emirates Airlines wanted to start, Emirates wanted to start their airlines, they came to PIA. PIA was a top-notch airline, by the way. PIA started almost like 17 airlines. A lot of people don't know that. PIA helped with Saudia startup. PIA helped with Singapore Airlines, with the Qatar Pacifics, Libyan Air, and Air Malta was also initiated by PIA, because PIA also leased them two 720s, and over the time they actually, when the lease ended, Air Malta ended up buying those 720s, and they flew them right into the 90s, I believe. And then afterwards those aircrafts were retired. So this particular model was replicated after the BCD, and because of its huge historical significance with Emirates Airlines, and there was once a time when Emirates wanted to buy the BCD to preserve. I heard from different sources there was a correspondence done, but nothing really came out of it, and for whatever reason the aircraft is still intact. And a couple of years ago, actually 3 years ago, an international organization called IHARO initiated a vision to establish a civil aviation museum in Karachi in Pakistan, because a lot of retired PIA's aircraft, including the 747, A310s, 737s, Fokker F-27s, are derelict there. So what's going to happen? They're going to end up getting scrapped, and if the organization can preserve it, all the best. But due to the ongoing political imbalance in the country, these things are put on a back burner. They're least of the priority at that time. But this organization is still trying to get it done, and let's see if that ever happens, because if they do, they would want this particular aircraft with the 747, with one A310 and a Fokker F-27, just as initial startup for the Civil Aviation Museum in Pakistan. As you guys know, every country of the world have their civil aviation museums. These museums are not just to put the airplanes in there, they help with the education, they help with the generation of the revenue. Bigger aircraft can be converted different ways to generate the revenue themselves. So there's a huge market for it. The airlines tend to donate the aircraft to the museums because museums have their restoration teams, and those restoration teams actually restore the aircraft into their original liveries. Sometimes it's like a delivery livery, sometimes it's intermediate, whatever they decide, but the branding is replicated after the original one when it was delivered. So in sense, it's the airline's name still going out. People from all over the world go to the museums, go to see and get them some educate their tours, their educational classes. There's a restoration, so there's a lot goes on with the museum. So hopefully, sometimes into the future, Pakistani government will make a museum, and let's see when that happens. Keep the fingers crossed. So that's pretty much it. I'm wearing this T-shirt with a Pakistani flag. There's a Pakistani flag on the podium here too, because to honor Moeen and Heather for going ahead and doing this. This particular T-shirt is the one that I wore when I did the skydive last year on 14th August from 14,000 feet in Cayuga, Ontario, with Pakistani flag. And I also sang the national anthem once the flag was, once the parachute was open, we were floating down towards the ground, and I did that as a tribute to Pakistan. So I became the very first Canadian Pakistani to skydive from 14,000 feet on 14th of August 2021, in Ontario, in Cayuga, Ontario. So that's one of my contributions to the country. I've been promoting Pakistani aviation in Canada and US for the long time, and this is kind of part of it too. So I hope you guys like this review. Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you guys subscribe and like the channel. If you haven't done so, please do so, because that way I can, every time I upload a review, you will get the notification. You can come and see it. There's a different there are many different reviews I've done. There will be more in coming days, and let me know what you think, because your feedback is very important to me. Like I don't get any revenue from doing this. My enthusiasm comes and my encouragement comes from your feedback, and that keeps me going. So once again, hats off to Moin and Heather for making this dream possible. Only 50 people in the world have these models, and now they are all sold out. So hang on to your models, because down the road, if you ever want to sell them, these models will be a lot valuable, more than what you guys have paid for it. So I hope you guys like this review, and like I said, let me know in the comments below. For now, take care, have a nice day, have a nice weekend, bye bye.